these accusations are really unfair in the sense that it instigates many of his supporters, but there really is no basis for it. With the present setup, we have automated elections now for the second time in the entire history of the country. I could not for the life of me imagine how this cheating can happen. So if there is indeed any basis for these allegations, I'm the one most interested to find out how cheating could be done given the present setup.
Does it have a chance of destabilizing your vice presidency?
I don't think he would be in any capacity to destabilize it. I think the most he could do is to create some sort of confusion and perhaps cast doubt on the integrity of the elections. But I think the only people who will believe the allegations are his own supporters, in the sense that most of the voters, most of us Filipinos, were able to witness how efficient these elections has been compared to the many other elections in the past.
This has been an extremely close vice presidential race, but are you feeling confident now that you will be the winner?
Yes, definitely. Monday night was such a roller coaster ride for me, in the sense that when the votes started pouring in at 5:30 in the afternoon, I was losing really bad, and that's what we were not expecting at all. But when we learned that the votes were coming from Senator Marcos bailiwicks, we started comforting ourselves that it will get better, and it did get better. At about 9:30, the gap was we were closing in the gap, and we overtook him about 3:30 in the morning. Now everything is stable. We only have a few thousand votes to canvass, and we're more comfortable now than we were perhaps yesterday.
Were you surprised how popular Mayor Duterte was in that election, despite his very controversial brand of politics?
I was surprised when he started, his numbers started picking up. I'm not surprised that he won, because the surveys in the recent weeks before the elections really showed how popular he was. I think it's a sort of a message to everyone that people are really clamoring for the kind of leadership that Mayor Duterte represents. But I think because the results of the presidential elections are really very, very clear to us, it's time to accept the voice of the people and start moving forward. It's the obligation of all of us to rally behind him. I think it is for the good of the entire country if he receives our 100% support.
What do you expect then from the Duterte presidency?
I would expect him to be a hands-on president. I'm not very familiar of his policy direction, but I would think that most of his first steps would be eradicating crime, putting in place law and order. He's been known for that for so long, and I think it will be good for the country.
You've said previously that you're willing to work 100% behind Duterte. Would that include supporting some of his hardline policies, for instance, his plan to kill thousands of criminals?
I really don't have any problem with standing behind him with regards to hardline policies. What I will be having difficulty is if allegations of his extra legal remedies were at all true. I would have a problem with that, in the sense that I've been a human rights lawyer for far too long. I've been working and pushing for, a more democratic means of solving everything, and I don't think I'm prepared to be very flexible insofar as these things are concerned. But I would hope that when Mayor Duterte eventually becomes president, he would be more. I think he would be moving in for a more unifying stance as far as leading the country is concerned. I think he made some statements right after the initial results of the elections were coming in, that he was really prepared to rise above everything and move for more inclusivity, more activities that will unify the already divided nation. I'm really excited to work for and with Mayor Duterte. I think it will be a real challenge on my part, but we can never tell. We might just be the tandem that the country needs at this point.
What about the external view from many people across Asia are watching this with some concern? How important are those external factors and other countries around the region looking at the Philippines at this time?
I think it will be a real challenge to sort of appease the international community that the new leadership will actually be good to work with. I think it is up to Mayor Duterte and myself to show our neighbors that we are here to not only provide continuity but give provide the change that is required. I think every change of leadership would create some sort of discomfort as far as partners are concerned, as far as the working relations with other countries are concerned. But I think that's a real challenge of the leadership.
Have you noticed a change in the way Philippines politics has worked, and is that something that the Aquino administration didn't take into consideration before the election?
It wasn't exactly ideal in the sense that traditional politics does not dictate that to be the ideal. But we observed here how ordinary people pushed leaders to accept Mayor Duterte as the real contender, as a serious contender in the elections. I think the clamor did not come from political leaders, but from the grassroots. So there are so many areas where Mayor Duterte did not have big political names that sort of filled in his political machinery, but he still won big in these areas. So that should be an eye-opener for most of the Filipino politicians, that elections are not just really won by political machinery, but the voice of the people should really be given a lot of thought in factoring in the chances of winning elections.
Did you really believe that it would ever be you in this position, having to now carry the mantle of the party?
Knowing my numbers when I started, I wasn't really seriously thinking that it was a serious fight at all. If you saw my numbers when I started in October, I think I was ranked 6 of 6 candidates. So I just did what I had to do, and the first indications that there was actually a chance of me at it was after the debates in April. Before that, it was actually a long shot. It felt as if it was just an obligation to fulfill, but I couldn't really imagine that I would be a serious contender at all. But after the debates, when my numbers started surging, that was the time that I actually accepted and realized that, oh my God, there is really a possibility that I will occupy the second highest post of the land.
Finally, what is your political vision for this country, and what are the passion projects that you'll be hoping to commit your time towards?
There are so many things I want to do. I've started so many pilot projects even before. There's nutrition, there's housing, there's disaster management, there's economic empowerment, but all working with the poor. So that's what I hope to achieve. But I would want to do this in a more decentralized way, in the sense that I do believe that as Vice President, I can help in pushing for development of the rural areas, because I think this is key to inclusive growth.
Sounds like a lot of work to do.
Yeah, a lot of work. But you know, this has been my passion for so long. And I see the vice presidency as an opportunity to, you know, bring all my passions and my previous advocacies to a greater platform, to a higher platform. And I hope I will be effective in this.